tavern doors you're strolling, from the wet and from the cold. Grab a friend and grab a chair, raise your mugs into the air. Warm your hearts with golden ale, stomp your boots in time with me. Sing along, the tune is fair, pitch right in and tell your tale. Through the tavern doors you're strolling, from wet and from the cold. Candles flicker on the beam, smoke and laughter thread between. Grab a friend and grab a chair, raise your mugs into the air. Fiddles scrape a merry line, tankards thud in steady time. The fire is stoked, the table's clean, the girls are nice but quick and keen. Travelers shake off road and rain, lean in close and call your name. Warm your hearts with golden ale, stomp your boots and raise a hail. Grab a book or find a bard, telling tales is not that hard. Sing along, the tune is clear, pitch right in so all can hear. Sing along, the tune is clear, pitch right in so all can hear.
Hello.
Hey there.
How's it going?
Oh. Well, it's Thursday. How are you doing?
Well, it's only Wednesday here, but doing okay.
Yeah. Well, it'll be Thursday soon enough.
True.
You want to start with our intro?
I sure can. Just a moment. I'm a little slow on the uptake. I had to convince my computer to reconnect to the internet because it was being stupid. All right, here we go. Welcome to Books and Bards, where unforgettable lines are transformed and given new lives. Here we take inspiration from well-known books and turn them into poetry prompts. Then invite poets of all ages and abilities to see where the ideas lead. We explore how single lines viewed through the different lenses of experience can produce a variety of meter, metaphor, and meaning. Together, we'll discover how simple quotes from the page can unfold into poems all their own. This week's show is inspired by quotes from the book Rhapsody, Child of Blood by Elizabeth Hayden.
A book I admit I have not read.
Well, it is a high fantasy, dragons and magic and all kinds of fun stuff. But
that was what I gathered. That was what I gathered from like online summaries. So
yeah, it's really cool. And as much as I like the main character, she's not my favorite character.
What is her name? Is it Rachel or something?
Rhapsody. Her name is Rhapsody.
That's it. Yep, right. From the title.
Yep.
And her counterparts or buddies are Ahmed and
Grunthor. Yeah.
Grunthor.
Yeah. And Grunthor is my favorite character. He's awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, one of our quotes is from him. So.
And he's a giant, yes?
He's pretty big, yeah.
Like, how giant is he? Like, I don't know, 6'5", 6'6", or is he like 8'10"?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I just know he's really big.
Because they get like transported through time into the future, right? And
yes, they do. So she's running for her life. She bumps into these two individuals while she's on the run, and they're also running for their lives. And they end up following it's a tree, but it's like a mother tree. Anyway, so the roots of this tree go all the way through the earth, right?
Right.
It's a magical core, right? So they end up following the roots of this tree through the center of the earth onto the other side, and they come out 400 years later or something like 444 years later or something like that. So yeah, it's really cool.
I see.
Yeah.
The summaries I read online explained to me exactly why I never read it.
Oh.
Not exactly my thing. So, but I can appreciate that, you know, those who are into kind of fantasy and magic and, you know, time travel, that kind of thing. I can see where it would be a good read.
And you can appreciate a good quote when you see one.
I can always appreciate a good quote when I see one. And in fact, separate from and sort of after the contest ended, I wrote a long poem in response to basically two of the quotes.
Oh, nice.
So, and I guess, you know, if we kind of run out of material tonight, I'd be happy to read it. But I think we've got 8 poems for tonight.
And that seems to be the sweet spot for us, is 8 poems. So
yes.
I don't think we'll run out of material. But with that being said, if you haven't read the book, I recommend it. But we should look at these quotes.
You want to start?
Sure. You cannot see the beauty without facing the darkness.
Yeah, I think that's something many people are kind of familiar with, even if they may not believe it 100%. Actually, I think probably a lot of people do believe it 100%. Yeah. That sense that, you know, that beauty and meaning and reward and payoff and all of that is only possible after trial and tribulation and difficulty and suffering.
It goes back to that idea of having opposition in all things.
Yeah. So I thought that was a strong prompt.
Absolutely, I agree.
Prompt
when
2.
You find the
go.
When you find the one thing in your life you believe in above anything else, you owe it to yourself to stand by it. It will never come again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was the prompt, one of the 2 prompts that kind of resonated with me. And, you know, that sense that, you know, passions in life, convictions, loves, those things that we, that, you know, our thing, you know, when you find your thing, you have to just, you have to give it your all. You have to give it your complete loyalty. Because, you know, lightning doesn't strike very often. So you probably won't find too many other things like it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this goes for people too. When you find somebody you absolutely believe in, it's hard to find that again. So.
3rd prompt.
Go for it.
Don't be afraid to take a difficult stand, darling. Find the one thing that matters. Everything else will resolve itself. Very similar to the 2nd prompt.
Yes. Very similar.
This one, though, I think focuses on more on you know, courage. So, you know, and it may not be sort of like a life's passion or a love of your life or something like that. Just something that it's a little bit adjacent in the sense that it's something that you feel you have to take a stand on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or against.
This is like morals and convictions.
Yeah, exactly. So this might
So-
be poems about choosing like integrity, over anything else, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and the next one, number 4.
Don't panic. Panic will kill you when nothing else wants to.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Yep.
So yeah, this is about fear or panic being more dangerous than whatever it is that you're
afraid of,
threatening you or whatever, right? So
if I'm not mistaken, this particular quote comes up when her dad is teaching her how to swim.
Oh,
I think he's a fisherman, something anyway, and so, or a sailor, and that he teaches her to swim, and that's what he teaches her. Anyway, but it very good quote, absolutely. So.
Okay.
You want to read the next one?
All right. The next one is second and far more important. Tuck your chin. You're going to get hurt, so expect it and be ready. You may as well see it coming.
So this is a quote from Gruntor. He's teaching her how to use various weapons, and it's in the middle of their journey through the middle of the world, like across these routes, right? And so yeah, he's teaching her weapons, and that's what he tells her, and that's one of his lessons to her. So, and he's an awesome character. So
as I recall, we have a poem or two written to that prompt.
I believe so.
And in fact, I think our gold medal winner wrote to that prompt. So
yes,
I like it. It's all about preparing yourself, getting ready for the pain that is inevitable.
And yes.
So, all right. And the last prompt is for all famous and special people he had met in his life. He was sure the purity of their collective souls couldn't hold a candle to hers.
I love this quote. So this quote is about her love. It's the majority of the book and the series is about him and her connecting, and their relationship is built into it. That's not the sole point, but it's a lot of it. And so this is him. This is how he feels about Rhapsody, the main character. So, have you met anyone like that, JoJo?
Oh, somebody that pure?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or just somebody who no one else you met would have measured up to.
Yeah, but this is about for all the famous, their purity collectively. I'm not sure I could. I'm not sure anybody comes to mind. But maybe if I thought about it a little bit longer. Actually, in my mind, yeah, maybe I have. For many years, in the 3 or 4 years before I moved to Australia, I worked from home at a Starbucks in Danbury, Connecticut, and one of the baristas there was just, I think, probably the purest, sweetest, gentlest, kindest soul that I've ever known in my life. Her name was Lauren Rousseau, and I think about her every year on the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting, because around not long after I moved to Australia, she got a job as a teacher at Sandy Hook, and so she was one of the teachers who was killed at Sandy Hook. And I usually cry for a few hours because I just can't imagine anybody that kind, that sweet, etc., meeting such a horrific death. It's also very much how I became an immediate proponent of getting rid of the Second Amendment. So, yeah, so maybe Lauren might have fallen into that category, actually. Connecticut's a small town. I mean, it's like 4 million people, but it's really kind of a small town. Almost everybody in the state knew someone killed there, or is related to someone killed there, or knows someone.
Oh, wow.
Who, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of that way. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, and I think actually I don't remember if we have any poems that were written to that. So, but maybe we should begin reading and find out. What do you think?
I agree. We should absolutely begin reading and find out.
All right. Well, first up is a poem. Oh, I need to paste it into the chat. It is pasted. And I will give Pam a moment to copy and paste that into the YouTube, because I think she does that for us, but it's because I can't. I guess actually maybe we should start doing that. I think I could just pull up the YouTube next to the StreamYard and I could just put it on mute.
Possibly. We could ask her for next time.
Yeah, so we should follow up with Pam about that. All right. So this is a poem titled, oh, you didn't upload the sound. You didn't have Pam upload the SoundCloud.
There's not one for this poem.
Right, but there is one for another one.
And I'm pretty sure I sent it.
Okay. Well, we will just read it, whatever it is. So, all right. Let's get back to our first poem, which is called Breaking and Becoming by Moss and Memory. And the quote, the prompt was, second and far more important, tuck your chin. You're going to get hurt, so expect it and be ready. You may as well see it coming. From Elizabeth Hayden. There's a sliver of a moment when muscle tenses around bone, sound drops out, the palate goes to dust, the throat tightens around a sudden rush of cold. An instant when you see without light, and you know what weights will reshape you. Inevitability, the body already folding around the wound, bracing for its arrival. Before the unknown steps into view, it claims you. Nothing in you moves. The blow coils, gaining force. Seconds lengthen into corridors where energy spins, trapped in its own gravity. The future coming toward it, past refusal, until breaking and becoming touch. End poem.
I love how focused on sensations this is. The palate, the throat tightening, the rush of cold. It's very tactile, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like you can feel this happening. Bracing for it. And honest, I think my favorite line is seconds lengthen into corridors. It's such a good line. You instantly see, like, personally, I instantly see like this really long blank corridor.
Yeah.
With just like energy blasting straight for you. And it's just like, it's such an intense image.
Yeah.
And I like the way he's got it structured. It works really well.
And it's a corridor, not a hallway. So there's this really great Poe song, 5.5 minute. What is it? 5.5 minute hallway or something. And you know, the visual I have for that is a long hallway with like pictures on the walls and maybe a few windows, but a corridor, there's nothing except for whatever's at the other end of the corridor. And so you are absolutely completely focused in a corridor on just the, you know, the far end of the corridor. There's nothing else to distract you. You're just 100% focused.
Yeah.
And so that corridor image really, for me, just gives me the feeling of just being focused on whatever this thing is that is about to destroy you, or, you know, like just on what's coming at you, like, you know, like like being in a tunnel with a train at the other end coming at you. You're just looking at the oncoming light, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. That's an incredibly strong image. So the other thing that I absolutely love about this poem is it's 110% body centric. So you're right. You know, you've got chin and throat and all of that. And you know, the language just there's no other way to read this, for me anyway, than a boxer who sort of knows that this big hook, this big roundhouse hook is coming, and maybe they're focused exclusively on the glove, but the description is just like what that glove is going to do to the body. The muscle tenses around bone. Everything, you know, light, vision, you know, sound, everything drops out except for, you know, this focus on this incoming punch. And you're seeing without light. So, you know, there's, to me, again, that's that dark corridor. Or maybe it's that, you know, it's coming, and so you just close your eyes. You don't need your eyes to see it coming. You just know what waits, and you know that it's going to just completely reshape you. You know, it's going to just like mush your skull. So I love the bodily body centric writing of this.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. It reminded me of Ocean Vuong from beginning to end. That focus on the body and the inevitability of it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Just, so this poem is only focused on just that, and so it's a brevity. It came in at the kind of low end of the word range, the suggested word range. So I would call it a brevity, but I love just how singularly focused it is on every little excruciating detail of the blow and the pain to come.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think the other really cool thing about this is he focuses a lot on the body's reaction to things, but he never defines what's coming. It's just force. Right? It says the blow coils, but it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like a physical blow, like a boxer or something. It could be anything. It could be an emotional blow. It could be it could be unexpectedly losing your job. It could be something life throws at you. It could be anything. And I think, I think there's a limit. Like, you can be paranoid and then you can be prepared. And I think this is just okay, stuff's going to hit the ceiling. You're going to get covered in it as it comes down. Just be ready for it and understand that it's going to happen. Right? And so I think it applies in more than just the taking a punch scenario. So
yeah, so when my kids were young, we were living in Davis, California. I was kind of finishing up my PhD, and they had this little hot dog shop called the Hot Dogger, and they had no indoor seating. It was just sort of a window that you got your hot dogs from, and they had these outdoor seating with outdoor furniture, the plastic tables and chairs. And my son was a baby. My daughter was maybe 2.5, and so we went there and we got hot dogs, and we sat down at these damn plastic lawn chairs, and immediately my daughter did this thing. She would like to, especially like when you were carrying her, she would arch her back and lean back, and when we were carrying her, she would use it to try to squirm out of being held. But anyway, she did it in this stupid little 99-cent lawn chair from IKEA or wherever. And I saw the chair starting to tip over backwards, and it was in this kind of, that slow-mo thing that happens. And I just immediately focused in on her tipping over backwards. I couldn't do anything to save her. I was just maybe 3 or 4 feet too far away. Time slowed down. Everything just sort of turned to a blur, except for me watching her tip over backwards and the back of her head slamming into the cement. And this poem kind of reminds me of that. I was like, oh, she's dead. Like, there's no way she's going to survive this. She's going to have like a really intense subdural hematoma and just die on impact, and I just watched it happen. And the kids' mom screamed at me afterwards, "Why didn't you do something?" And I was like, I was just too far away. And her head, it crunched and it bounced and it crunched again. And I thought, fortunately, kids have very elastic skulls at the age of 2 or 2.5. And I stayed up all night with her, monitoring her pupils and eyes and all of this, and breathing and everything. And after the initial 5 or 10 minutes of crying, she just, sat down and ate her hot dog.
Yeah.
But this poem kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah. Oof. My kids have all face planted onto the concrete. And for some reason, it's always on their first birthday. Every single one of them, their first birthday, they face plant into concrete. Massive bloody nose. Like, just like, really? Why this particular point in your life is that when they all decide they have to do that? And the funny part is, I think at least the first two, maybe all four of them, it was just the first two, because then we stopped giving them a ball on their first birthday. The first two, both of them, it was going after a ball. Like, we got to stop this. If they're going to face plant on concrete, it's got to not be going after a ball. We just stopped giving them a ball on their first birthday to try to prevent it. And no, inevitably, they all smacked their face on concrete on their first birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy. But like you say, they bounce. They just keep going.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Right?
That makes up for terrible parenting.
And even the best parents in the world can't avoid some amount of child catastrophe.
Yeah.
They manage to get into it regardless. But very well written poem.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Fantastic. And that's why we both agreed it was gold medal worthy.
Absolutely. Absolutely worth the gold. So thank you, Moss in Memory, for sharing this with us. Very well done. Up next.
I will post the next link.
Yep. This one is by Sky to Blue. And it's called So It Won't Find Us First. So it won't find us first. Don't panic. Panic will kill you when nothing else wants to. Elizabeth Hayden. Maybe the dark is not lying in wait for us. The shadows could be willow branches shivering in the cold, or owls solving math problems in moonless midair. The wind moves through fallen leaves, and its rustle is uncertain, though it probably means no harm, nor do any of the small, wet noses of things that would prefer we stayed on our side of the dark. Do we look for terror so it won't find us first? As we peer into bushes, sure a hungry maw awaits, hearing claws in the routine snap of a rotting pine, our pulse trip hammers the quiet, advising us to run from everything but panic. End poem.
Nice read. Really
Thank
nice
you.
read.
It's a good poem.
Yeah. So this was our favorite of the don't panic. Panic will kill you when nothing else wants to
Yes.
Quote or prompt. Yeah, I love how the panic here is like a predator. That was my favorite part, is that it'll find you. You know, it's, even if you don't want to panic, it's like the predator's is lying in wait. And yeah.
I like the way she goes through and she pinpoints all of the little things in nature specifically that tend to scare people. Branches moving in the wind, owls,
solving math problems.
Solving math problems, right? Because they're wise old owls.
Because math
and I
problems
love the way that
really
they do
scary. Really scary math problems.
And I appreciate that she points out that it's moonless. There is no moonlight. And so it's just, which means it makes it even harder to see what's going on. And I think so she goes through all of them, like leaves, small wet noses of things who would equally prefer we stay on our side of the dark. I think I've told my kids that before. Like, I promise that thing is way more scared of you than you are of it. Just leave it alone. You're going to be fine. Anyway, and so I appreciate that she pinpoints all of the little things. And so anyone who's had that sort of like childish, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on, fear walking through the forest, or even just walking down the street at night, like it's all of the tiny little things that have our nerves on high alert. But I appreciated this. It was great feeling the tension, I guess, rise as you go through all of these tiny little sounds or things in the dark. But
yeah, the wet noses of things is a really great visceral image that I think we're all familiar. Anybody that's ever had like was startled by a dog's nose suddenly touching their bare skin, for example, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think this is. I think this is the second or third of Sky to Blue's poems that have mentioned mathematics, and I think I commented to you. I think she knows that one of the contest judges is a mathematician and appreciates shout outs to mathematics. But I like the use of it here because it really is kind of, I think, intentionally thrown in there as something scary, which I find really funny. Though I think really what people are, the math problems that people are most scared of is are word problems. And so I probably would have said, or owls solving word problems, not math problems, but same difference. And, you know, I always like to point out, if you think you're scared of math problems, you should see the math problems we mathematicians are scared of. But I love the image of a wise owl solving math problems in the moonless midair.
Yeah.
It's my favorite image of this. But you're right. It's got lots of little creepy, crawly, scary things in it. That, you know, that if you've ever been like walking in a forest late at night when there's no moon and it's very, very dark, just even something like, you know, as you're walking through fallen leaves, even your own shuffling of the leaves is pretty creepy. So the and if it's the wind that is moving through fallen leaves, rustling them, then it's even worse.
Yeah.
It probably means no harm, but you know, it's really easy to sort of convince yourself to be scared of it and maybe even to panic. So I thought the imagery of all of the creepy, crawly, scary things here just built up from beginning to end to paint a really a picture that you could actually imagine panicking over. The only thing I would say that she left out is we have a family place that my grandfather bought right after Pearl Harbor. That's way, way, way out of. Oh, it's very remote. It's sort of south by southwest of Yosemite, about an hour from Yosemite's valley, and it's kind of a family place. And when I was in grad school writing my dissertation, I would go up there for long stints all by myself. And the house was actually the original owner built this small little, like a fort that he and his family, his wife and kid, lived in for several years while he built a log cabin house by hand. And but you know, it's 80 years, no, maybe 100 years old now. But you know, it's got like a tin roof, so when it rains, you know, there's just that constant ding, ding, ding on the roof, and you know, it's surrounded by enough sugar pines and pine trees that late at night when you're all alone up there, there are a lot of noises to freak
Oh,
you out.
yeah.
And so I think that's the only image here that was missing was sort of like being home alone, way out in the middle of nowhere, in a house full of cracks and creaks and you know, like just creaking wood and the creaking trees around you. The worst was when a pine. It has these big bull pines surrounding it, and every now and then a bull pine drops their pine cones, and these things can weigh like 4 or 5 pounds. They're massive, and when they hit the roof, it would be like a gunshot going through the house, and those are the worst. So that was the only image she missed, was sort of the creaky house.
Yeah. I remember being in a townhouse, right? And it's an apartment complex, so they're like share a wall with people, and it was they were not horribly soundproof townhouses. And right, I was a new mom. I just had my first kid, and when you can hear the creaking of your neighbors walking around and their garage door opening and closing, I'm like, oh my gosh, talk about new mom nerves being on edge. Holy crap. That was like, yeah, that was not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Because it wasn't quite bad enough that I could hear what they were saying. All I could hear was the creaks and the things as they were moving around, and it was so bad.
Right.
So bad. Like, never doing that again if I can avoid it. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we built when I was about 10 or 11, we built a house, and so it was a brand new house, and you know, like when I would be home alone late at night, you know, in the first few years, like decade after you build a house, you know, the 2x4s are still drying, and when they dry, they bend and they creak, and that would always freak me out too. Like in a new house, you just get lots and lots of creaks just from the drying 2x4s.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So really strong right, hey?
Oh yeah, absolutely strong right. And absolutely deserving of the silver medal we gave it.
Oh, I also really liked the our pulse trip hammers, the quiet advising us to run. That was my other really favorite piece of writing in this. You know, it's I would have said jackhammers because, you know, for me, when that anxiety suddenly rises up, it's pretty fierce, and you know, my pulse pounds like a jackhammer. But yeah, the pulse trip hammering is fantastic. Like you can hear your pulse, right? It trip hammers. So there's also that bodily physiological response that's perfectly written. So really nice job there, Sky to Blue. That's why we gave it the silver medal, and really well-deserved silver medal at that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, very well-deserved medal. Great poem. Thank you for sharing with us. So our next poem, unfortunately, we did not get permission to read. However, it's by Ben Thiessen. It's called The Trial of Silence. Jojo, if you want to go ahead and put it in the link in case people want to look it up. I think it would be okay to just talk about it a little bit, even if we can't read it.
Yeah. Let me do that.
And then if we hear back from him, we'll read it next week.
Or later, if we hear back from him before the show is over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So And then once you get that posted, if
All right, it is posted.
Do you want to go ahead and give us just a summary, and then we can talk about it?
Well, others can read it
Yeah.
on their own. So Ben has been writing what I think is a series of
Yes.
of poems, and one of them he felt so it's a series of poems, and there's I think it might be 3 poems, because in the series there's 3 trials,
Mm-hmm.
and the first poem is the trial of silence, centers around the first trial in the series, and
Mm-hmm.
he was thinking about submitting it because it really it aligned really well with You Cannot See the Beauty Without Facing the Darkness, and so he was going to submit it, but it was way too long. And so the poem he submitted is a rewrite of that of the first poem in the series. And there was another quote that he said it kind of worked with as well, that he came across from the actual book, that was
Mm-hmm.
the city remembers what the living forget, and that steered the city remembers what the living forget. And so anyway, he wrote this poem in response to that, as well as the You Cannot See the Beauty Without Facing the Darkness. And we both really enjoyed it. And
Absolutely.
And so we obviously recommend that you give it a read, and see what you think. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
I think, obviously, hopefully you're going to go read this, but I really enjoyed the way he breaks it up, because he's got it broken up into 3 different sections, because he's got basically 2 different characters going through this trial, and the difference in how they approach it and how they come back out of it.
Yeah.
And then and I think it's very, very beautifully done, the way he's got it divided, and the tension through the entire piece. We were talking earlier about the book itself, and how they travel through the center of the world, right? And they come out about 400 years later. And I actually think he pulls the number. It's 444 years exactly, and he uses that number in his poem. And he describes the physical sensations and things of going through these trials, and he does a really good job with those descriptions. And it's a very good poem. Personally, I thought it did a really good job at drawing me in and bringing me into the experience of this trial. So very, very well done, very well written piece.
Yeah. So it had a significant impact on me when I sat down to write a response to this contest as well, because in this there's a man and a woman, and the trial is the trial kind of forces the woman to confront herself. Well, it forces both of them into sort of self-confrontation. But the woman actually does sort of accept the truth and, kind of confronts herself truthfully and uses it as, as guidance. Whereas the man pushes back. So the man resists the truth and is punished as a result. But basically the man kind of tries to gaslight, whereas the woman accepts the truth and, kind of confronts the reality, confronts the truth about herself. And I really liked that. It kind of also, to me, related to the "Don't be afraid to take a difficult stand" quote.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the woman takes that really into takes that to heart, and really, the one thing that matters from that quote is the truth about herself. And so she's confronted with that truth and she accepts it and she deals with it, which is a really hard thing to do. So I really liked it, and thought it definitely was bronze medal worthy. I hope people will go and take a give it a squiz, give it a read.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so
really
too.
Nicely done.
Well enough done that we gave it a bronze medal, and it absolutely deserved it. So
yeah, so that poem is called "The Trial of Silence" by Ben Thyssen, I think. Tyson. When the I and the ego walk, and the second one does the talking in German, but in other languages, all bets are off. All right. So do you want to read the next one, or do you want me to read the next one?
I can read it.
All right, go for it.
This is called "Out of Ether."
Wait a minute. I
by
gotta
Blazing.
Give me a second.
Okay.
It took me a minute to find it. Okay. The link is posted.
Called "Out of Ether" by Blazing White Wolf. My life did not start with sliding out of mommy's womb. No, it started as an adventurous, small second grader. Well within my own conditioned mind, I stood around similars, my ego strutting like a peacock. My cot pet hung around my thin white neck, Mama's innocent-looking little slitherer, almost smiling as its tail shook. 14 inches of gray, tan, and brown. Boys of larger size, oohed and awed, with smiles echoing all around. Mission accomplished. My ego puffed to the size of a 10th grader. Within 3 clicks of an old clock, the 2-time shedder of skin was confused, scrambling for something other than smog-filled air. A long, black-haired man appeared out of the ether, or so it seemed to this undersized white eye. He snatched through and created bug eyes on the standing, flat-footed children. With shovel in hand, he slammed down his digging tool, rendering my new friend headless. He turned. He placed his hand on my shoulder and left a burned print of consciousness in the muscle, a silent tag deep in the flesh, so he could track the white-eyed boy, waiting in the background current for the years to pass, watching the conditioning choke me until the clock hit 30 and the call was finally made. The shovel took the snake, but the hand took the ego, transmuting the blood, awakening the red-skinned warrior out of my born nature, ready, willing, and able to make its last and final stand. End poem.
What do you think?
I like it. He wrote to the prompt, "Don't panic, it will kill you when nothing else wants to." And I love it. And I love the way he approached it, because I'm assuming the little boy found a rattlesnake based on this description.
Yeah.
And the fun part about snakes is they will absolutely react to your panic, and they'll feed on it, right? They can tell you're scared, and then they get scared and they will attack. But children don't know that. All they think is, whoa, that's a cool snake, right? And so obviously this little boy was just, okay, cool, that's a cool snake, no concerns, nothing. And so it seems like for the most part the snake was perfectly fine. I think you sort of get this sense of maybe the snake had decided it saw something it wanted at one point. Yeah, it says it was confused and scrambling for something other than smog-filled air. So not super clear what the snake was looking for or confused by, but the fact that you don't really see the panic in this until an adult steps in, I think is very, I guess, telling, right? And I think it works really well with the prompt because, yeah, for the most part, right, obviously, poisonous snakes are just that. They're poisonous snakes, or venomous snakes, I think is the correct term. But the boy was perfectly fine because he wasn't panicking. And the moment he had decided to panic and become afraid is when that snake would have turned on him. And so I think he portrayed that particular prompt really, really well. What do you think?
Yeah. I like it. I think you're right. It's a rattlesnake. And they shed their skin, and this is a rattlesnake that's shed its skin 2 times. So it's young, but not like a baby. You can imagine. So he calls himself an undersized white eye, which could be taken as kind of a derogatory term, but I think when one calls themselves a white eye, in sort of a self-deprecating manner, it kind of hits different to me. But it did sort of jump out at me initially, and then later in the penultimate stanza, a red-skinned warrior is awakened out of his born nature, ready, willing, and able to make its last and final stand. So there's definitely some, there's a bit of terminology, wording here that is, I think, pointing toward Native Americans, and maybe the author, his AP screen name is Blazing White Wolf. Maybe I'm thinking maybe the poet has some Native American ancestry, and that he's writing about how this incident with the rattlesnake kind of changed maybe the way that he identified himself, that there's this identity transformation, because in the beginning of the poem he's an undersized white eye, but in the last couple of stanzas, a red-skinned warrior is awakened out of his born nature. So I wonder if I get the sense that this is the transformation that occurs here is maybe around his identity, that when when you're a kid, you're young and innocent, and maybe you don't, maybe you don't connect with your ancestry very much, and so maybe, initially, because in this poem in the beginning, he's clearly very young. He's a small second grader. And you can imagine the sense of identity at that age being very foreign, undeveloped, just it's not something that you might think about in second grade. But then here's this situation with a rattlesnake, and it's you can imagine that later you might look back at this, maybe it's not a life and death situation, but certainly a dangerous situation. I mean, people do die from rattlesnake bites. And you might look back at that and think that was maybe the moment where, my sense of identity, my sense of self, my sense of ancestral lineage and history and so forth, took a turn. I like this poem a lot. And I thought, like the undersized wide-eye jumped out at me initially. And so as I was reading it from there on, it really did kind of focus me in on that interpretation. And it's an interpretation that I really, really like. So I thought it was really well done.
It is really well done. And the imagery and descriptions are amazing, and they do a really good job.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine being a second grader and taking my prized snake, right? Obviously, I have no clue it's dangerous. And watching its head get removed, like violently removed. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I shudder to think about that. Oh my goodness. It doesn't help that I'm a snake person. I love snakes. Snakes are awesome, but I also have a very healthy respect for venomous snakes. So.
Me too. I mean, where I grew up in California, we had, garter snakes and gopher snakes and king snakes, nothing venomous, but at our kind of extended family place near Yosemite in the Sierras, Nevadas, 24 acres of lots of dry grass and rattlesnakes. And so on more than a few occasions, I have stumbled across rattlesnakes there, and it's pretty common to kill them with a shovel, as in this poem. But on the other hand, my sense is that you pick them up and you take them far away and release them on the other end of the property, because they do keep things like rats and mice and so forth, populations low.
Yeah.
And
my mom used to pick them up with the other end of the shovel with the stick.
Yeah.
And drop them in a pillowcase.
Yep.
And tie them up, and then she'd walk them far enough away from the house or into some grass and let them go. Yeah, there was no. It didn't matter what kind of snake it was.
Nobody else in my family does that, though. Nobody else in my family does that. And I mean, my really, really, amongst all of my aunts and uncles and cousins, and it's all my brothers and everybody. I mean, like, if my daughter saw a rattlesnake when she was up there, she would absolutely insist that everybody participate in the killing. And be like, can't we just take him and drop him down at the creek or something? Right. She would be like, Dad, I swim in that creek,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I like snakes. They're cool.
I was out walking and took a step down, it had some rocks that were sort of the rocks for stairs that led down to one of our other. The house has a main house, but then it's got like 3 other buildings. And anyway, I was walking down, the steps, which were made out of rocks, and right behind me was about a 5-foot rattler sunning himself. And, the old saying of, never step where you cannot see, came fresh into my mind immediately. And I thought, well, that was stupid. And my cousin, and at the time I was dating this young Taiwanese American woman who had grown up in Taipei and had never seen anything even closely resembling a snake. And anyway, she screamed and she ran and locked herself in her car and demanded that we kill it. And my cousin was with me, and he was like, I don't want to kill it, but she's insisting. And I was like, don't listen to her. What does she know? This city slicker. Anyway, he did kill the snake, and I regretted that for many, many years. But after she and I broke up, we would all sit around and laugh at just, like how she reacted to it. But that's, I think, the common reaction amongst most people is kill it with fire. Definitely do not wrap it around your neck. That's the thing that nightmares are made of.
Right.
Or hanging around your neck. So, all right. Shall we move on?
Absolutely. Very good, right? But yes, it's time to move on.
All right. Next up is Gyroscopes by Eric Svensson. And I will take one for the team. And Eric's poems are always challenging to read. So I will give it my best.
Actually, if Pam has it, this has a SoundCloud.
That's the one that has the SoundCloud, but I think Pam said that she does not have it.
She doesn't? Oh. Okay. Well then, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right. Sorry, Eric. I'm not sure what happened with the SoundCloud, but we'll get you next time, mate. Sorry. This is Gyroscopes by Eric Svensson. Above microscopic filaments flare. A glow of fireflies illume obsidian darkness. Minute blinks twinkle, swarm around my inner gyroscope. Below in tandem crawl. Glowworms stake landing lights. Boomerang bends the mind to return back to its senses. Royal toil broil of fracking minds recoil. Reason ricochets within caged cerebral conundrums. Inner gyroscope adjusts, adjudicates, and keeps direction. Inscape landscape below abides. Self-effacing sentinel heart goes about its business, wherein the seat of the soul resides. Lay of the land seen from a distance with Bette Midler. There is harmony and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace. Below macroscopic filaments flare. Firefly glows illume obsidian despair. Minute mindful blinks twinkle. Swarm around my inner gyroscope. From a distance, we are gyroscopes, marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. Inner gyroscopes adjust, adjudicate, and keep direction. Refute, refire, reboot. Liminal heart spaces expand to accommodate more compassion. Last to leave the room, bride and groom. Flutter, fly heavenwards with Pandora's immortal hope. Gyroscope inscapes keep orientation. We modern day ancient mariners set sail on 7 energetic seas. Heart-based choices navigate wherein the seat of the soul resides. End poem.
Ooh. I like this, and you're right. They can be difficult to read. Okay, so let's start with general feel. This was written to the prompt, when you find the one thing in your life you believe in above anything else, you owe it to yourself to stand by it. It will never come again, which I appreciate. And maybe I am misunderstanding his intention, but to me, this feels more like the tension of somebody trying to pull away and coming back. Does that make sense? It doesn't feel like a firm stand next to. Right, and we've got ricochet, we've got boomerangs, we've got a couple different things, and so for me, it feels more like the tension between leaving and staying, as opposed to a firm stand by it and don't go anywhere, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just personal interpretation of this. I think when we talked about it, we discussed the fact that I think the gyroscope is supposed to be like an internal compass.
Yeah.
Of sorts, which is interesting because I was thinking about it, and if I'm not mistaken, gyroscopes are more ball shaped as opposed to just circles, whereas a compass is a circle and a gyroscope is a sphere. Am I wrong?
Don't your kids have do your kids have those gyroscopes, like a top, a spinning top? Or there's like a kid's toy with a wheel with 2 magnets. Like it's a wheel with little magnets poking out as axles, and it runs up and down on this little pair of metal. So that's a gyroscope, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of a wheel that spins.
I guess maybe I've always thought of gyroscopes more like oh shoot, what's the name of this movie? As like almost a ball with multiple spinning circles in different directions, and so it goes in every direction.
Oh no.
That's always what I've thought of when I think of a gyroscope, and that's would be my mistake then if I'm wrong. That's always how I've pictured them.
Did you see Apollo 13?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. You really need to
probably
watch a lot
should.
more movies, and a lot better movies. I mean,
I've watched some really good movies. It's not my fault they're obscure.
Apollo, well, all right. So one of the things, when Apollo 13 kind of goes south, when the Apollo 13 mission goes south, there's a scene in there where they're worried about the gyroscopes getting kind of locked or losing their position. So the gyroscopes are used, so they're these things that spin, and as the spaceship turns, with or rolls or yaws or whatever, what's the other word? Oh, pitch. The gyroscope kind of changes orientation, so it is always pointing in the same direction. And because Apollo 13 was kind of without much of their equipment, they were really worried about losing their sense of direction. And it was the gyroscope in there that, you know, they had to really kind of keep an eye on and worry about, because it's what tells them which direction, it gives them a point of reference for their direction. And so it's not exactly a compass. I mean, a compass works on the surface of the earth, but a gyroscope works everywhere, even in space. And so so I think that's the sense that Eric is using of the gyroscope. So it's used as kind of a direction, a reference for direction. And it's kind of it's a spiritual and moral direction, I think, that he's talking about.
Yeah.
And I guess also maybe also an emotional direction. So I thought the use of the gyroscope, I mean, he could have used compass, I guess, but you know, that would be kind of a pretty tired metaphor in poetry. So I thought the gyroscope was a much fresher poetic image for kind of doing the same thing, or doing roughly the same thing as a compass. Yeah. What else did we talk about with this poem? Oh, the boomerang. So I mean, Eric always likes to just stack image on top of image. And so the images are strong, you know, like the glowworms and the fireflies and
yeah.
What was the other? Yeah, I mean, the other one that that I thought was a really great selection was the boomerang, because, you know, boomerangs, they have a direction when you throw them, but then they kind of circle around and arc around, and they don't travel in a circle. They kind of travel in kind of a J shape, and if you throw them with the wind kind of blowing at you from the right direction, then sort of their pathway takes them on this J shape, and then the wind kind of finishes carrying them back toward you. I learned to throw a boomerang when I was in Australia when I was 10, and I still own 20 or so boomerangs, and I love throwing them, and I got pretty good with them, and, you know, even would hunt quail with them growing up. So I love boomerangs, and so I thought that was a really strong image as well for sort of a complicated direction. And to me, it sort of, if you throw a boomerang in a certain direction, in the right direction, it comes back to you, and so it in a sense it's a recovery kind of an image to me. Yeah, so I thought that was really strong as well. I also, with all of Eric's writing, I always love the alliteration. It's always just top shelf strong, and he uses it really effectively, not only as just alliteration, but also to stack, you know, images as well. I also really liked the royal toil broil of fracking minds recoil. Really great rhyme within a line. Really just gorgeous rhyme.
Yeah, it really is.
And I also like how he gave hope and peace a voice, right? So so he gives them a voice so that they then become an auditory image as well. So really nicely done. I thought that was great.
I really liked the idea of a fracking mines recoil. So I have a friend who used to work on oil rigs, and so I know a little bit about fracking and what that does. And so the idea of fracking inside the mind and the recoil of that. I was like, oh my gosh, it gives me a headache just to think about it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a brilliant image, very well done.
Yeah.
I think that stanza in general is just really well done. But
I loved the refute, refire, reboot because it's both alliterative as well as rhyming. So it was like, oh, that's a really nice alliterative rhyme, just fantastic. But I think it also gives you the sense of I don't know, rejection and rebooting. And so it's like, oh yeah, I'm not happy with this, so I'm just going to reject it and then I'm going to reboot. So I thought that was a really strong idea as well. So we gave this an honorable mention. Really well.
We did give it an honorable mention.
And I'm really sorry about the SoundCloud, Eric. I really am. So nicely done.
Yes, very, very nicely done. We appreciate the share. Great rate.
Now that I've read the tongue twister, would you like to read the easier to read next piece?
Sure. I can read Who Am I by MoniG25.
All right, let's do that. Oh, I got to paste the link. All right, link is pasted.
All right, Who Am I by MoniG25. My soul holds the chronicles of my life, concealing secrets in corners of vast shadows, suppressed to endorse the image I conjure up daily. The fear of exposition now defines who I have become, a surreptitious portrait that portrays the comfort of my mind, swaths of color applied, masking brushstrokes of disdain, on a life's canvas thickened by substrates of secrets, smattered to deny the integrity of my image's verity, a burgeoning truth struggling to remain in repose. But my thespian pains to bring new brush lines. My palette is befuddled by existential hues, bridled in the concoction of new rainbows, a colored evolution of who I yearn to be, whilst masking the tones of who I am. I ponder, who am I, really? End poem.
Nicely done. Nice read and nice write, Cobbler. Monty's a fun writer. What'd you think? You like?
I do like it. I like the tension of this is who I am and this is who I think society wants me to be, and trying to maintain that balance, and then finding the courage to actually take off the societal mask and be yourself. And it can be very, very hard to do. I know in today's society, it's a lot harder for some than others. I think when I first read this, it gave me the impression of somebody who is possibly gay or something to that. It gave me the impression for a couple different reasons. I don't know if that was the purpose, but and I know that can be really hard on people. So, but regardless of what it is that's hiding behind a mask for society, having the courage to peel off the mask and be comfortable in your own skin and your own self, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of effort. And I think this captures the tension of that fairly well. So
Yeah, I think maybe somebody who has not come out and has instead hid them, elected to hide themselves, and I think that's a strong reading of this poem. It can be read more generally, just as anybody who sort of presents different views of themselves, but the rainbows, the hues, I think that's a strong reading. The metaphor here, the main metaphor here is of somebody who Monty and I think are of a similar are men of a certain age, and so the line, on a life's canvas thickened by substrates of secrets. The life's canvas is maybe, to me, somebody later in life who has and the main metaphor here is sort of painting a canvas repeatedly, and and each time you do, it's sort of reinventing who you are to the outside world. And the life's canvas makes me think of somebody maybe later in life who has, for many years been thickening the canvas of substrates of secrets, so painting over who they really are repeatedly. And by the time you get to, say, my age or whatever, you've probably repainted that canvas many times. Maybe it's maybe sometimes it's just reinventing yourself, but it may also be repainting the canvas to hide your accumulating secrets. And I thought that that line captured all of that in one line, on a life's canvas thickened by substrates of secrets. So I thought that was my favorite line of the whole thing. And I also love how he calls himself a thespian. A thespian might be like an actor, but it also brings in a sense of drama as well. And so maybe you're also just trying to hide the drama of your life, or trying to suppress the drama of life. So I thought that was a really strong image as well.
Yeah, I agree. It is a really strong image.
The hues are existential, so this really is not only about identity, but it's also about existence. Yeah, so I thought there was a really strong write by Monty G.
It is a very strong write by Monty G, and I appreciate that he shared it with us.
Yeah, so this was in response to you cannot see the beauty without facing the darkness. And so the darkness here for Monty is really that final question of, who am I really? I've painted over my secrets, and so many times now I've painted over my my substrates so many times now. It reminds me of the Talking Heads. I've changed my hairstyle so many times. I don't know what I look like, which I think Monty might appreciate given his music background. So I really enjoyed this. One of Monty's pieces, I think, that is sort of now in my kind of top tier of his poems.
Yeah. It is very well done. So thank you, Monty G. So.
And you read that, right? So it's my turn. Yes. Yay. All right. It is my turn to read one of everyone's favorites, I'm a Rhymer. So the link is posted, and this is Help Myself Survive by I'm a Rhymer. Aboard a cruise ship, a bit drunk, leaned on the railing, but did slip over the side and went kerplunk into the ocean by the ship. Treading water, help, I did yell, as the ship slowly sailed away. Had I been heard? I could not tell. Hope for rescue, I had to pray. Sobered up and clear thinking now, the strength in me I had to find, to stay optimistic somehow, keep faith both in body and mind. My greatest waiting threat, I knew, panic, my killing, waiting to. End poem. And I'll bet you cannot guess what prompt that was written in response to.
No, I don't think I could. Tell me.
Yes, this was written in response to the "Don't panic, panic will kill you and nothing else wants to" prompt.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think?
I really like this, partly because I'm not sure if I'm a Rhymer read the book, but it was, I think, the only poem submitted that directly tied with water, and being in the water. And like I said earlier, the quote comes from her dad teaching her how to swim, and so I liked it for that reason. In addition to the fact that it's a really good poem. This idea of getting drunk and slipping overboard and no one being able to hear you, and so having to keep a clear head to try to stay alive.
Yep.
So
yeah, and
I think they did a good job.
There have been a number of cases, right, of people falling off of or falling overboard on cruise ships. It's a pretty regular thing. According to Google, it's like 20 or 25 people a year, and so it's a very real fear. But yet it's she writes about it in almost kind of a, I mean, it's kind of fun that this, sonnet. It's kind of fun. It's a little cute and funny and intentionally
it is.
so. But it's also, that's the way that we deal with a lot of our fears, right? Is to kind of joke about them. It's kind of that dark humor. And so I thought the poem was really effective in doing that really, really well. But then, being drunk kind of gives it a little bit of a funny twist to it. But then, once she's in the water, suddenly, she has to sober up, because otherwise, she's gonna definitely be left behind. So I thought the writing of all of that was really strong.
It is.
Sobered up and clear thinking now, the strength in me I had to find. But do you know what my favorite part of this whole thing is? The rhyming of drunk and kerplunk. Just absolutely fantastic word to rhyme with drunk.
It's
my favorite. It's my favorite rhyme in a long time. The kerplunk is just really so. Kerplunk is just like the best word for like falling into the ocean, right? That it's because it's sonic as hell. And
absolutely.
Brilliant rhyme for drunk. And obviously very well aligned with the prompt. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely, really well aligned with the prompt. And I appreciate the sort of the lightheartedness of it, as well as the very real threat of being in the water. So I think she did a good job balancing those. So very well done.
I think I don't even sober. I don't have good enough balance to even consider taking a cruise. And if I did, I would probably just sit in the middle of the ship the whole time.
I would not go too close to the railing. I agree.
Right.
I would not call myself a strong swimmer, so I can swim. I just would not consider myself good at it.
I'm a very strong swimmer and swam competitively for years, but I am certain I could not swim and catch up to a cruise ship.
Correct.
Unless the cruise ship was anchored.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so that would be a very real fear for me. And I'm sure I would be one of those annual statistics if I spent more than even a few minutes near the railing.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to read the next one?
I am.
The link has been posted. And I am ready.
This is called It's Going to Hurt by Julie Buck. Giving up things I don't want to give up. Letting go of people I won't let go of. Do the right thing. If it feels wrong, how is it right? Hush, voice inside my head. Go forward, some say. Safer grounds. First, remove the wrapping, hiding your wounds. Either way, storm's coming. Look at the sky. Anger lives there. It's coming for me. Change, good change, hovers, and I loathe good. My indulgences have been my pleasure. How pathetic, how me, to be crying in spaces on a page. A decision's been made. It's going to hurt. Bad. Real bad. End poem.
Yeah, it's a really nice response to the prompt. Second, and far more important, tuck your chin. You're going to get hurt, so expect it and be ready. You may as well see it coming.
Yeah.
And I think this nails that prompt really, really well, don't you?
I do. I do think this nails the prompt really well. I like the way she addresses this, not in the physical sense per se of waiting for a punch, but in the life sense. Change is coming, essentially.
Yeah.
And they're not looking forward to it. There's like I have indulgences and they please me and I don't want to change what's going on, but it's supposed to be changed for good, and so I have to rip the band-aid off and keep going, right? And so I appreciate the approach for this. I like how she questions well, if it's the right thing to do, why does it feel wrong?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. So I think we've all come up against that. Well, it's the right thing to do, but it sure doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So
that's you're pointing to the second stanza. So that second stanza, also kind of touches on that other prompt about don't be afraid to take a difficult stand, darling.
Yeah.
So it also touches on that as well. But yeah, so many years ago, we had a neighbor who ended up becoming my boss, and actually my brother David's boss for quite some time. His name was Don, and his favorite thing would be to refer to these difficult or painful things that happen in our life as unique growth opportunities. So me and some of my fellow, some of my colleagues, we just started calling them UGOs. Similar to UFOs, unidentified flying objects. We had unique growth opportunities, or UGOs. So
Nice.
something would, so it was I worked in a drugstore, a Long's Drugs, kind of like a Walgreens for those who have never heard of it. But we did a lot of stocking, mostly of sales items. But anytime something would go wrong, we would just go, oh, another UGO. And so I think Julie here is writing about a unique growth opportunity. It's clearly, the opportunity is clearly difficult and painful, and because that last or penultimate stanza, how pathetic, how me to be crying in spaces on a page. So it's such a difficult opportunity for growth that she's actually crying in words on a page, or in spaces on a page. But she concludes, a decision has been made and it's going to hurt bad, real bad. And so I like the idea that, once the decision's been made, then there's nothing left but to grow through it. Even if it's really painful. So I thought that was a really strong idea in this poem as well.
I agree. That is a really nice or strong part of the poem. I guess it's not nice. But yeah, I appreciate that she's able to look at it and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I guess sort of look at it from the outside in a way to see but at the same time, change is hard. Even the best change is really hard. Yeah. Who was it that said anything worth having is worth working for, or something? Anyway, and so it's just, if it was supposed to be easy, we'd all do it all the time. But so no, I appreciate her ability to sort of look at it from an outside perspective.
Yeah, someone once said to me, why is it that everything I let go of has fingernail scratches in it?
Interesting.
Yeah, I like that image.
Yeah, that's good. That is a good one. So, I do think we talked briefly about the fact that if this had been a little bit more specific about what change, it might have been just a little bit more relatable.
Yeah, I think it would have grounded it with, like an overarching, sort of specific image.
Yeah.
Instead, this reads a little abstract, but also therefore maybe a little bit more easily applicable. So, that kind of groundedness versus abstraction is always sort of a two-sided coin, I would say.
Yeah.
So this reads to me as sort of a general commentary on change and the pain of change. So yeah, it reads a little bit more abstractly than it could have. But I don't think that, for me anyway, I kind of like the abstract.
Okay. Yeah, no, abstract isn't bad. I think personally it would have been nice to have that a little bit more of an anchor for this particular piece, but that's a personal preference.
I really liked the storm stanza. Either way, storm's coming. Look at the sky. Anger lives there. It's coming for me. It's not just coming, but it's coming for me.
Yeah. Dude, that reminds me. we took the kids to the park the other day, and it's a pretty big park, and it was probably a couple hours we'd been there, and we saw these massive gray rain clouds. Like, you could see them moving towards us.
Yeah.
And it was sort of just a matter of time before they got there, right?
Yeah.
And so we felt like the first like 1 or 2 drops was like, okay, we should probably like head to the car, right? But I've got kids, so you got to stop at the restroom first. And so we get to the restroom, and before we even get the door open to the building, it starts pouring rain and hail all at the same. So it's just, it was great. We just sort of stood there inside the restroom for, I don't know, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, and just waited for the deluge to pass. It was awesome, though. The kids thought the hail was really fun. It was really cool. It wasn't super big, but like it was a fun experience for them. So yeah, no, I absolutely like to look at the sky and to see the anger and to have it feel like it's coming for you specifically is just it's a different kind of tension and pressure. But so no, it was very, very good imagery. And a good poem. So
all right. Nicely done, Julie. So we've got a little time left, and so maybe I should post and read my poem.
Sure, why not?
All right, I will do that. And I will read it from my website. All right, so I posted the link. All right, so mostly I was thinking about what? So mostly I was thinking about when you find that the one thing in your life you believe in above anything else, you owe it to yourself to stand by it. It'll never come again. And don't be afraid to take a difficult stand, darling. Find the one thing that matters. Everything else will resolve itself.
Yeah.
And then I tried to turn it on its kind of give it a moral viewpoint. So I tried to extract the cost. So this is called What I'm Willing to Answer For by JoJo. And sorry, it's a bit long.
That's all right.
1, my mother says his breathing has begun to weaken, and I am already inside the sentence, already watching her thumb pressed against the glass, already choosing between rooted and drowned. Though she is still speaking, though she has said my name. Later, she calls twice. I let the phone go dark beside the page. I change drowned to held under. Nothing comes for 3 nights. I carry the notebook. 2. Nothing comes for 3 nights. I carry the notebook through the house, turning my father's breathing mask beneath the lamp, placing it beside the letter my wife left unopened on the kitchen bench. Every object is silent. I move them closer together. Inside the fridge, the ice maker releases 1 unfinished white tooth. Again, I say, again. 3, the poem wakes before I do. My wife is beside me, one hand open between us. I leave it there. In the kitchen, I write standing, then sitting, then standing again. The line changing each time. The Instant Pot sealing itself, pressure gathering beneath the lid. She comes in and says my mother called. For 1 second, I listen to her. Then I write down how listening looked. 4. I make an inventory. My mother's messages, my wife in the doorway, my father's last week reduced to a mask, a feeding tube, the shallow rise of a sheet. I write the slack angle of his mouth. I do not write that I arrived late to the papers, to the room, to what she had been asking of me for years. I do not write how relieved I was when he could no longer ask why. 5. My brothers read the poem about our father. At the line where he forgives me, they stop. He never said that. I tell them the silence required an answer. They say it was his silence. I draw a line through the sentence. The ink is pale enough that I can still read it. That night, I open the file. I close it. 6. At the workshop, they say the final section weakens. My father's thickened words do not resolve the image. Trust what the poem knows. I place the cursor at the beginning of his sentence. For a long time, it blinks. There. I delete the poem. I call it stopping. His labored words remain in a notebook I do not show anyone. 7. My mother is asleep when I visit. Her hand lies outside the blanket, the skin yellowed, the knuckles small. The old line returns, held under. I take the pen from my pocket. Her fingers close around nothing. I put the pen back and sit beside her. 8. I begin again. Mother, father, wife. Beside each name, what I used. A gesture, a silence, a vow I kept revising. My wife sets a cup beside the notebook, then stands there until the coffee cools. I let her carry the cup away. I keep the steam. 9. I send my brothers the published poem, the one in which our father forgives me beautifully. I tell them where it appeared and what I invented. They ask me to take it back. I write the editor. For weeks, I search the title. When I find it, his forgiveness is still there. I do not open it. 10. Each evening, before I write, I list the names already in the room. Once, after my wife went to bed, I wrote the sentence I had promised not to use. In the morning, I showed it to her. While she read, I watched her face for the ending. 11. For 7 mornings, I sit at the window. A sparrow strikes the glass, falls to the sill, and rises badly into the hedge. At once, omen, wound, resurrection. I let the words arrive. I do not arrange them. The bird is gone. The glass holds the outline of its body. I look until the shape is only a mark. I write, sparrow. 12. A young poet calls from the kitchen. His father is dying in the next room. He asks what to write. Behind him, a machine repeats its one permitted sentence. I hear the line arrive, clean, terrible, asking to be kept. Stay with him, I say. Listen before you shape it. Years from now, write nothing you are unwilling to answer for. After we hang up, I open the notebook. I write the kitchen, the machine. I change his voice until it fits. End poem. All right. So tear it apart.
I think I should ask you if you're okay first.
Yeah, I'm okay. I've been thinking about that poem for 20-something years, so. I guess I was thinking about, poetry as, I always think of poetry as a compulsion for many of us, but we were on Twisted Tuesdays, Twisted Tuesday, I think we were listening, and Yumpy said something about, I don't know, poetry like an addiction. And I thought that's the angle finally I've been looking for this poem. And so I thought about it as an addiction, and so not just a compulsion, but an actual addiction that is something that, is hard to recover from, but also something that at the same time can kind of ruin your life, right? Like an addiction. And so that's kind of what I was trying to capture there. And the 12 sections are, they correspond to the 12 steps, of a 12-step program. So that was written intentionally. But I think it kind of is those two prompts combined, but taken a step further where it's things that you have to, it's something that you have to do, but it is something that could also kind of really ruin your life, or at least exact a significant moral cost.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to read into, trying to turn everything, even like a family member, like my father's death, like even turning that immediately into poetry, rather than being as useful as you can to support your mother, say.
Yeah. So
I don't know how that fits with the book.
Well, I will tell you, the main character goes through a lot of loss throughout the course of the book and the series itself. But I think the angle you took here, the need or the urge to write poetry instead of, I guess, being emotionally present for the other people going through the same thing. I think I've told you, I don't know if I've mentioned it here. I lost a little brother back in 2012. He was 3 years old at the time. And the kid loved chocolate. And I can't tell you how many times we would find him hiding under my mom's bed with a box of chocolates that he'd eaten half of and fallen asleep, or wherever. Like, the kid loved chocolate. But I remember after he passed away being angry because I had, not super recently, but recently enough, started writing poetry again, right? Because I started in high school and it was sort of an on and off thing. And my mom knew I'd written poetry. And I could not, for the life of me, write a poem about just him. Everything I wrote was grief and dark and death. And my parents were looking for something they could put on the headstone. And I guess somebody who attended the services had written something really sweet about how heaven had another little angel who was going to greet everybody with a piece of chocolate and a smile. And it was very, very sweet. And looking back on it, I should not have been so hard on myself for not being able to come up with something like that right in the middle of everything. But I remember being mad at myself. I remember being upset with my parents for at the time I felt like it was an expectation that I do it, and then they ended up using somebody else's, and like I can look at it now and that wasn't what happened. But and so I think I guess I had the exact opposite reaction. Like, I wanted to write, but I was so overwhelmed with what was happening emotionally that I couldn't. Not what I wanted to anyway.
Right.
And so it was a very interesting scenario for me. But bringing that back around to yours, I think when you showed me the first few sections of this the other day, and you told me your dad was misdiagnosed with something, and it had started looking initially like dementia, and they treated him for something, and then afterwards it ended up not being that at all and something completely different. So, which is hard.
So in the poem, I think I fairly aptly described amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which most people know by the name Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a neurodegenerative process where you lose, use of your muscles because the nerves degrade. But I also put in there the instant pot, because what he actually had was called normal pressure hydrocephalus, and it just presented in this really weird milieu of symptoms that kind of looked like Lou Gehrig's disease, kind of didn't, kind of looked like Parkinson's, kind of didn't, kind of looked like, dementia, but not really. So it was just this weird set of symptoms that we did not realize it was normal pressure hydrocephalus. So I tried to incorporate all of that into it. And you're right, the poetry that I wrote, at the time, was just lots and lots of just like pure grief. And it was shit poetry because, I didn't really know how I felt about it. But also because I was in grad school, I was trying to finish my PhD. I was trying to finish all of my computational experiments, all of my theory, write a dissertation, etc. And so I didn't have a lot of mental and emotional time to kind of really deal with it at the time. And so, I sort of tried to just escape from it. And poetry was one of those vehicles. So I was thinking about, addiction as an escape from reality. And so for me at the time, the poetry was one of my main escapes. So I can imagine, poetry after your brother passed, being really hard to write. And you did write it. It probably just came out as just like grief dripping off the page.
It did. It
Yeah.
totally came off as grief dripping onto the page. So, but I actually think you've read one or two of them.
Yeah.
But
and we've talked about it a bit. So
anyway, but it's a really good poem. I enjoyed yours. I think I mentioned to it the other day when we were talking about it, is I would not have pulled Lou Gehrig's disease out of it. I would have had to really look for it.
Yeah, you
But-
kind of have to be an amyotrophic lateral sclerosis expert, or at least be very, very familiar with it.
Yeah.
What I do want to say though is that at the time I started interacting with a lot of ALS groups, and in that group was one of the groups anyway was about 20 or 30 poets who had Lou Gehrig's disease and were writing poetry about their disease. And it's extremely hard for most of them, because many of them had no use of their, they were literally what's called locked in, like had no use of arms or legs. And some of them even had to have artificial breathing because, they had lost the nerves that controlled their chest muscles. And so a lot of them were on forced air ventilation and so forth. And yet they were writing incredible poetry about their disease, about their lives. And it's basically 100% fatal. So many of them were writing about, what it felt like to be slowly dying. And that poetry was really beneficial to me at the time. So I thought I would throw that out there too. Yeah. And I always think about that when I think about things, like assistive devices for helping, severely handicapped people write poetry. Many of them would not have been able to write poetry at all without, really serious technology, assistive technology. So
yeah,
I always think of that group of poets. So
yeah. Well, I can't imagine that's easy to go through either for them or the people supporting them.
Yeah.
But your poem about your dad is absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And well written. Thank you for sharing it.
Shall we let Pam get to bed?
Yes, we have gone over again.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. And I believe we are talking about the Green Mile. Or no, what's next week? What is next week, JoJo?
Isn't it the Emporium?
Oh, yes. Next week is Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. And after that is the Green Mile.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys next week. Everyone have a good night.
Yep. Good night, everyone.